I'd admitted myself, because I do have it. No doubt about that.
This is from the preview of the next episode that's going to air tomorrow night for me right now. And there's something so weird about this whole clip. First of all, any real concern we have about this is, like, it's hard to watch this episode with her having COVID, feeling anything really deeply, because she's sitting there in the interview talking about what happened. We know she lives. We know that in real life she lives, all of that. It's hard to maintain any sense of like suspense, like this is real, when we know she's fine. So it's, first of all, it's a weird thing to do. I understand why they did it because of how the reality show is done, and it's a year delayed, which I'm not a fan of. But this particular part where he had to drop her off at the hospital and says that he wanted to be admitted to be with her bothered me on many levels. The most obvious is that don't take up a bed that is needed and someone could genuinely use, willingly exposing doctors, nurses, other patients to COVID when you don't need a bed. Like, that's the most simple. I think everyone got that level of it. But what was weirder for me is he has been saying for 2 years that he can't be away from his young kids. We have hundreds of interviews of him saying, my younger kids need me more. They need me there. They need their father. I'm really important. I can't be away from them for more than like 2 or 3 days, despite all the evidence of all the times he went away when his other children were young. So my first thought was, your children need you. Like, you would voluntarily submit yourself to the hospital to be near Robyn while your young children who have never been away from her, as far as I know, for overnight, you would just do that just to be with her. Like, that doesn't sound like it's the kids you can't be away from for more than a few days. It sounds like it's Robyn you can't be away from for a few days. Now, I know that they have the nanny. I don't think the nanny spends the night. I know that they have older siblings that they love. I have much older siblings that would take care of me sometimes when my parents were gone. But my first thought was, and then of course the most obvious thought is he's just saying this all to the camera to look like a devoted husband, to look like an amazing whatever, which I don't think is what it does. But my first thought was how weird it was, because my first thought was, he's got these young kids at home that need him now more than ever. She's in good care. It doesn't look like... I don't want to say, I'm not medical, so I'm just not going to say anything about her time in the hospital. I'll let other people say it. We know that she survives. It looked like even though she was in a great deal of pain, she wasn't about to die, but I don't know. But yeah, my first thought was, what about the kids? What about these kids you can't be away from for more than 48 hours? Now you're talking about getting yourself admitted to the hospital when you're not sick just to be near Robyn. I was like, interesting.